What up, dude bros? I'm Frank. This is a video review of the Nerf Mega Tri-Break. This blaster in the Mega series is a spring action blaster, primed like that, and has 3 front-loading barrels that fires one at a time with a smart AR, and it has this fancy little shroud cover thing. Let's get into the review. Included with the Tri-Break is the blaster itself, 3 mega darts in the instructions. So let's start with an external overview of the blaster, starting up at the front. Of course, being a mega blaster, it doesn't have any barrel extensions. These visible holes right here are just the barrel shrouds. They're not really the barrels. But above and below those, you have the sling mounts right here and here. And up on the top of the blaster right here, you have an in-strike tactical rail for your optic or whatever. So these are just barrel shrouds, sort of. So to open up this front system, you strike this little trigger here. It's the front trigger out of the 2 in the trigger guard, and that opens up this little shroud, which reveals the 3 front-loading barrels. So to load, you can just push in your darts like this. And this whole unit hinges on this bottom system down here, so once you've loaded up, you can just shut the blaster like that. And again, when you need to get to that, you can strike this bottom trigger down here, and it opens it up. And behind that release trigger, you have the actual trigger, which fires the blaster, of course. Trigger pull is as expected. This is a single fire blaster, which shocked me. I thought it was going to be a 3-round shotgun, but whatevs. To the grip, it's a pretty comfortable, smooth grip. I like the design of it, and it feels a tiny bit fatter than other blaster grips on the market right now, but that's kind of fitting for the Mega series, since the Mega series blasters are a little oversized in some dimension, even though the dimensions of this are goofy. Looks like a pretty regular sized grip with a really big old head up here, but that might just be me and how I'm looking at it. At the bottom of the grip here, you have this priming handle. It's a T-style priming handle, as opposed to the ring or the other design, so you can put your fingers around that and pull back. Prime is pretty smooth. The weight is what I expected, and pretty standard for the Mega series blasters. Now again, when you pull this trigger, only 1 dart fires. There's no way to shotgun it. And since there are 3 barrels that are front-loaded, it uses a smart AR system to continuously fire all 3. Pew pew. And that concludes the external overview. Let's see it on the firing range. Shooting standard mega darts at my blaster board's target rig. I'll start with just trying to shoot them into the middle of the net. Now I'll try to shoot some plates. I said try. Do or do not. There is no try. So I'm gonna shoot some plates, bros. Yoda knew what he was talking about. However, it's locked in, relatively speaking. I'm not even near that trigger, and it... The Tri-Break blaster operates like other spring-powered Mega blasters on the market right now. Well, more or less, it shoots a little bit soft, but I had a noticeable malfunction that repeatedly came up. And it had to do with this little shroud thing. And if you notice when I go over that overview, this whole shroud thing is completely unnecessary. It doesn't have to be here. It doesn't do anything. This whole hinge thing could just totally not be here, and we could just use this part of the blaster. That'd be fine. There's not even a lock to disable the trigger, so you could totally just unscrew this and take it off. So it's a total waste of energy to be opening this and doing that. Other than these style points. Yeah, that's a good reason. But the locking mechanism is right next to the hinge, which is kind of like the worst possible place you could put the lock. Like, mechanically speaking, the lock would make way more sense up here. Because if you just bump the blaster, it opens up. And that happened a bunch when I was testing the blaster. It was kind of difficult to keep it shut. And it often even unlocks when you pull the trigger, like that. Just the vibration of the shot opens up the shroud. That'd be tactical as if it was a 3-round shotgun, so right when you shot, it like automatically opens saying, hey, throw in another shell. That'd be freaking sweet. But when it's a 3-shot continuous blaster, it doesn't, like, it's clearly just a malfunction. And you can see when the little mechanical hook hooks into place, it's barely getting any traction. It's just a weak design, mechanically speaking. If you're gonna add unnecessary plastic and make me go through an entire step to open this up for no reason, at least make it work right. Malfunctioning cosmetic pieces are the worst type of extra plastic. Outside of that malfunction, the firing of the darts is pretty standard for the Mega blasters. I put the Tri-Break up on my chronograph and I achieved an average velocity of about 66 feet per second. And the par for the Mega series is kind of all over the place. It's around about 70, maybe a little hotter, but the Mega series has a crazy range with many blasters down into the 50s and some way up over the 80s, so whatever. A true average or a mean isn't really fair, so it shoots okay-ish. I feel like I'm trying to grade a kid in kindergarten. Like, how do you give them an A? Like, what does that even mean? A star, a smiley face. This kid gets a star, she gets a smiley face. The Tri-Break gets a thumbs up. Yeah, I mean only on chrono velocity, so getting to my opinion on the Tri-Break, I don't like anything about this blaster. It only has 3-round capacity and it's about the same size as the Cyclone Shock, which holds 6 darts and doesn't malfunction. And this thing, even if it was working properly, is a totally unnecessary step that adds absolutely nothing to your nerfing experience. If you live a life of efficiency, you're probably like, hey Frank, you idiot, just put the darts right in there. It works, but the true barrel is so far in there that you kind of have to weasel the dart in it. It takes more dexterity and attention. It's not as fast as having an exposed barrel like that. Even if it was working perfectly, it would be a completely cosmetic, completely silly, unnecessary thing to do, but it's not even working properly because it often opens up like that. The latching system just isn't strong enough. It's mechanically flawed. So it becomes a total nuisance. Even at its best, even if it was mechanically perfect and everything worked, why not buy a Cyclone Shock? It's about the same size and it has double the capacity and it doesn't have that weird thing sticking out when it's primed, has the more traditional slide action. So I disagree with the philosophy of the build and it was not mechanically executed very well. Other than that, thumbs up. Can't tell a kindergartner he failed. That's just messed up, man. So, good job. Yeah. So overall opinion is pretty negative on the Tri-Break blaster, but of course my opinion varies from other people's. Maybe you're looking for something different in a blaster, and hopefully I provided all of the objective information for you to make that purchase decision for yourself. And if you would like to purchase the Tri-Break blaster, I'll put a purchase link in the description box below. That concludes this video review. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, bros, stay tactical.